Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my humble hacienda, my casa, and my home here in Livingston, Montana. I've got the 1st of November of 2021. Now look, here a while back, I made a promise to myself, and I put it out on a video that I wasn't going to do any more of these negative type, horrific news story type videos and all that. Well, actually, what I meant is I wasn't going to be playing internet sleuth or internet detective or any of that nonsense. But I do want to weigh in on this. For right now, I want to weigh in on this Alec Baldwin situation of him shooting and killing his director of cinematography or photography, or, that lady that he supposedly accidentally shot on the movie set of the Western called Rust down there in New Mexico a week or so ago, plus wounding the main director. Now, the reason why I'm making this movie file is because I know this worm, this weasel. I don't even like that Alec Baldwin, but I know that this clown is going to try to weasel out of something that he's absolutely guilty of. He's the one that pulled the trigger. How could he not be guilty? And yes, I understand the fact that they got a chain of custody and a chain of command. That stuff ain't going to do you no good if you've got unqualified people running positions like that. See, the problem is with Alec Baldwin. First of all, I believe that he's a narcissist. Second of all, I believe he's got an ego the size of Texas, so to speak. He thinks that his shit doesn't stink. And all this stuff. He's rude to people. I've seen a lot of clips, and you folks have seen them too, where this guy's telling people to get out of his way and this and that. If I had my way about it, I'd skin his noggin for him. But anyway, I'd better cease and desist with that kind of talk, or otherwise that weasel will try to sue a poor old guy like me that knows the rights and wrongs of firearms. I've been handling firearms ever since I've been about 15 years old, plus I'm a Vietnam veteran and all that, and you just don't have accidental discharges. That's not the way this program works. Not necessarily, anyway. He was the guy behind the gun. He was the guy that pulled the trigger. He's guilty of killing that woman. It's just that simple, And I feel really bad for her, of course, and the director, because they were really, I would say, innocent in this particular situation here. But, the thing that's crapping me out is I know that this Alec Baldwin is going to try to weasel out of any responsibility of killing that lady and whatnot have you, when it was his fault. You take firearms like these right here. This is not a right comparison because these are semi-auto. He had his accident supposedly with an old-fashioned wheel gun, a 6-shooter. But nonetheless, I have a responsibility to know if these firearms, see me, I'm admitting this, I have a responsibility to know if these two firearms are loaded or they're not loaded. And that goes for Alec Baldwin. Just because somebody yelled at him it's a cold gun, that don't mean nothing. That's a wrong terminology. Cold gun. What is this nonsense, But, you never take a pistol like this or whatever have you and point it at anybody. You never do that. Not unless you're intending to shoot. You treat all firearms like this like if they're loaded. You never put your fingers in these wells like this until you get ready to shoot. There's a whole bunch of stuff, so when somebody hands you a firearm, the smart thing to do is don't take anybody's word. Oh, well, it's unloaded like that. The smart thing to do is for you, as the person that's handling the firearm, to take and check it for yourself. He should have taken that old Western 6-shooter for a second or two there, opened up, lowered that cylinder, spun it around, took a look at them bullets and checked it. But no, somebody else has got to do that for King Alec, Okay, just to drive my point home, but well, let me say this. He broke every rule. He did. Not the armor, that young lady. She had no business being an armor. She didn't have the, that whole chain of custody or chain of command there was all gooped up. None of them people were qualified to be doing what they're doing. But just to drive this home, this right here is a Kimber 45 ACP. See that big hole right there? Yeah. This is the pistol that won World War II, by the way. And this right here is a Glock 20. Okay? 40 millimeter. This is 40 caliber right here. This is 45 and whatnot have you. But here it is. One of these pistols is loaded. Can you tell me which one of these pistols is loaded? Come on. Which one's loaded? Well, just so I don't leave you hanging, it's this Glock. This Glock, I've got 15 rounds in the clip and one in the pipe. There's 16 rounds in here. And this Glock 20, which is a 10 millimeter auto, which is a 40 caliber, okay? This Kimber, this custom Kimber 45 right here is totally, it's empty. I know this for an absolute fact. Nobody's going to tell me that you can't just pop the clip out of here and say, oh, yeah, look, it's loaded. And I happen to know that there's one in the pipe here, too, one in the barrel. So that, you can put 15 rounds in this clip right here and one in the pipe. That makes 16 total. I keep a few firearms around my place here loaded, but, you never let the enemy know what your strengths are. So there you are. And besides that, on these Glocks, there's a little piece of metal right here. If this metal is sunk in, that means it's empty, and if it's exposed like that, popped out, that means it's loaded. So there you are. So I have done right here in front of this camera, I have just demonstrated a little bit of firearm safety, which is apparently what Alec Baldwin didn't do. They don't need to let him off the hook, because that's what I figure they're going to do, is let this maggot off the hook. He is guilty of mishandling a firearm. It's just that simple. Take care, ladies and gentlemen. I'm out of here. We'll see you on down the trail, and adios, my friends.